The Toronto Raptors just shocked everyone, and I'm very happy they did, as we got some major updates today, as after last night, we knew Bruno Fernando would be getting that final roster spot for the team. A lot of people were frustrated because that meant Jameson Battle, the guy he was in direct competition with, as well as Jamison Battle, would be on the outs. That was clear in Darko Rajakovic's rotations last night, but the Raptors made a shocking move today in cutting a guy that had a contract, that had already signed a deal over the course of the summer for a contract this season, cutting him in order to open up a roster spot for Jameson Battle, the guy that became a fan favorite. And in my eyes, I don't know how he couldn't have been a fan favorite or coach favorite, a scout favorite, a Masai Ujiri favorite after the summer that he put in, as Jameson Battle ended up getting a final roster spot in a little bit of a roundabout way. So we're going to break down what the updates are going on, because the Raptors made a ton of moves today in terms of cuts, in terms of signings, in terms of making everything official, and how the roster is going to look entering this season. And frankly, I don't think this could have worked out better. So lots of stuff to dive into in this video. But before we do, folks, we have an exciting announcement, as the Raptors Digest Fantasy League will be back. I'm organizing everything over the course of this weekend, today, tomorrow, and we're going to have our draft coming soon. So again, priorities coming to channel members. So definitely check out the channel membership if you guys are interested in the fantasy league. But I think this is our third year running. I won first year. I got a bit smoked last season, so the last couple of years. So I am the fourth year of the Raptors Digest Fantasy. The last couple of years have been a rough go for me, but I'm out for blood this season, ready to get a W. So you guys want to compete, want to join the Raptors Digest Fantasy League? Make sure you guys check out the channel membership, hit us up, keep your eyes peeled for those community posts that are coming out. But let's dive into these crazy updates, so the stuff that's going on with this team right now, because we had a very surprising sort of crafty maneuver done by Masai Ujiri today in terms of this roster construction, as news came out that the Raptors have made their final roster cuts, waiving Jarrett Roden, Jamias Ramsey, and Brandon Carlson. After a strong preseason, Jameson Battle is signing a two-way contract, replacing Carlson, who had previously signed that two-way contract for this upcoming season, and Bruno Fernando wins the 15th roster spot, giving them an extra big to back up with Kelly Olynyk, who's been banged up, and the Raptors being pretty thin on the front line. And frankly, while this is a surprising move, because rarely do you get guys come in and get signed to two-way contracts, signed to actual deals, and then cut right away at the start of the season. And frankly, Brandon Carlson, who is a guy that has impressed a few people. Like, he was a guy that's a very reasonable two-way contract, played well during Summer League, got a game-winning block the other night, a big man that can block shots, can rebound, can do different things. I like Brandon Carlson as a basketball player, but again, Jameson Battle was just too good to be ignored, and the comment section was saying I was out here yelling it, and frankly, every Toronto Raptors fan that had eyes that watched these games could see how Jameson Battle would be a fit on this Raptors group. Regardless of shortcomings in different areas, that three-point jump shot is just too elite. I mean, we can look at him as a basketball player, right? He's only 23 years old, so he fits the kind of timeline of this Raptors team. He's 6'7", 220, so fits, positional need more of a forward than just one of those basic guards out there at that point. He plays small forward rather than shooting guard, but basically, in Summer League, he really burst on the scene as a very, very effective basketball player. Shot, 60% from the three-point line on 3 attempts per game, 3 point attempts per game, and just 14 minutes of action, 7.4 points. Was, I want to say, a non-factor, a guy with no expectations when he was signed, brought into the Summer League team, but shocked a ton of people with the performance, with what he was able to put on out there during Summer League. Just the confidence, the ability to come in after being cold, sitting for a while, and knock down a ton of three-point shots. Jameson Battle proved he is that NBA-level skill, and basically in preseason, right, came out, did the exact same thing. Only 9 minutes a game, was able to average 6.4 points every single time he stepped on the court. He did something positive, whether it was hustle, play defense, knock down shots. He did everything out there he could have, and shot 57%. Again, on 2.8 three-point attempts per game. 57%. I'll say that again. 57% of the times this man shot a three-point shot, it went in. That, again, that's a small sample size. It's 5 games, just 10 minutes a night. What is that? I'm doing the math in my head, about 15 three-point shots. But at the NBA level, in a preseason action, when your livelihood, maybe not your livelihood, but your career, right? This is the biggest moment in Jameson Battle's sort of career to, make a point, break out, get onto this team out there at the NBA level. And he had the poise, the confidence to come out there, do the right things on the basketball court, not force anything up, and shoot the ball that efficiently. I mean, I made a video a couple days ago and said, hey, the Jameson Battle is forcing this team into a tough decision. Now, we all thought it was between Bruno Fernando and Jamison Battle, but we knew the Masai Ujiri wasn't going to be able to keep this guy off the roster. He was just too good. He was too good. And frankly, again, because Bruno Fernando makes a ton of sense as a guy that's on this Toronto Raptors team, it just fits. Positional-wise, he's kind of a younger vet that just a good locker room presence, plays defense, does different stuff. I get why the need for Bruno Fernando on this team, but Jameson Battle was just too good, and frankly, Masai Ujiri did the right decision and did things around so he could get both of them. So that was a great sort of pickup, great acquisition for the Toronto Raptors. And again, while we're all excited about Jamison Battle, there are some positives here as well, like in terms of Bruno Fernando is getting overlooked at this point because, again, center position, 6'9", people are like, oh, an undersized center. Do we want him over Battle? Like, no, I get that argument, but he is a stocky man. He plays defense. He's gotten a ton of rebounds over the course of preseason for this Raptors team, and frankly, does fill that positional need. So him getting that final roster spot makes a ton of sense. Again, he wasn't going to be on two-way spot. He's 26 years old. He could have found his way onto any type of roster. So, Bruno Fernando is a guy that I just have liked since we've brought him in. Again, in comparison to other players, younger guys, there was always going to be that debate, but I'm happy that he was a player that did get that final roster spot because he brought the energy, he brought the hustle for the Raptors during the course of preseason, right? We can take a look at his stats, make him bigger here. Essentially, 14 minutes of game, he was able to work off guys, do a lot of positive things out there along, some of the upper echelon players, but averaged 5 rebounds per night, which is a huge positive, averaged 6 points per game, and had a decent touch around the basket in some of the games. Position just didn't do anything bad out there, and that's kind of what you want as a big man coming into your team to be insurance sort of person out there at the big man position. Because for years, we've seen this Toronto Raptors team have a lack of big man depth. This season indicated that it was going to be something similar in terms of roster construction, in terms of things that were going on with how the roster was shaping out. And again, we're younger, we have younger talent, so that makes sense to sort of go in that direction. But regardless, if we're going to be a team that's not winning a ton of games, that's winning a ton of games, you want to at least have a well-rounded roster. So you don't have a guy like, RJ Barrett having to play power forward if we do deal with injuries, at some point over the course of the season. Because that's a reality that we saw Ochai Agbaji playing a ton of power forward at the end of last season, and that just didn't make a ton of sense. Ochai Agbaji looks 1,000 times better right now, playing his more natural position at the 2, like on the wings, rather than out there at the 4. So that's a positive. I am a little sad to see, Brandon Carlson go, even though this is the right move, I'm not criticizing the move by any stretch. Carlson is a guy, even though he was an older rookie, that did have an intriguing sort of intriguing sort of package, big 7-footer that could shoot threes, that was pretty solid out there on the defensive end, gave very much, indications as a similar basketball player to a Kelly Olynyk, who we've seen and fall in love with on this Raptors group, and being a Canadian out there for Canada basketball for so many years. And I think he'll land on his feet. I think there will be a team that ends up picking up Carlson here now at some point, in the, this season, next season, whatever it is. But, so it is disappointing to see him go, but I can't criticize Masai Ujiri whatsoever. Tough decisions have to be made, and even though it seemed like Carlson would have more security, that's, surprising to see him go. And then Jameson Ramsey also made it tough on the Toronto Raptors, but frankly, even if he outplayed Bruno Fernando a little bit over the course of preseason, positional need just had, for your 15th roster spot, that just kind of comes into play. Unless someone is just outstanding the way Battle has been, for this team over the course of the last little while, Bruno Fernando was going to get that spot over Jamison Ramsey. So, congrats to Bruno Fernando. Congrats to Jameson Battle, especially Battle, who's complete unknown, to finally get out there on the roster. Wishing the best for Jared Rhoden, who's probably going to be with the 905. That was an expectation, right? Maybe Carlson will end up with the 905, and then obviously Jamison Ramsey, who I think has shown enough at the end of last season and over the course of the preseason and stuff that he'll find his way out there onto an NBA roster. But I don't know. You guys are the best to make this far. Again, check out the community posts that are coming in regards to Fantasy League. That should all be set up and going there tonight. But you guys are the best. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.